Episode number 72 of Making the Case. Can you make a woman happy? Is the question. Let's get it.
Exactly how the fall of man occurred in the Garden of Eden. Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden, and Adam said one day, "Wow, Eve, here we are at one with nature, at one with God. We'll never age, we'll never die, and all our dreams come true the instant that we have them." And Eve said, "Yeah, it's just not enough, is
it?" No, that's not funny.
I was just waiting for more.
Well, that was kind of his point. Oh, God.
A lot about women. I think I learned exactly.
Man, what up, YouTube? It's your boy. Back at you again, Dr. Jacob Isom, educator, author, speaker, entrepreneur, consultant, speaker, father, a little bit of everything. All right, back at you again, man. Episode number 72. Can you make a woman happy? And I want to start off with that clip, with that video, because that is kind of what reignited the conversation about whether or not you can make a woman happy. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have seen this clip because it has gone viral. So we're gonna get into it in today's episode, but of course, we got to go over our two channel norms. One, we attack points and not people, and then two, we don't do all that cussing, derogatory stuff because we are professional over here, man. So let's get into it, man. With our opening statement, can you make a woman happy now? Of course, we're talking about in terms of a relationship. We could extend the conversation further when we just talking about life in general, but I think I would like to stick to when it comes to being in a relationship with someone of the opposite sex. Okay. So can a man make a woman happy and last long term and it be successful? I mean, a lot of people have different opinions on that. As you can see with the clip, I mean, the reason why the clip is so priceless and will go down in infamy in history and YouTube legend is because that wasn't scripted, right? Like that was a genuine reaction to show you that all the men, if not most of the men, laughed and got it instantly, immediately. Well, the woman was like, "Oh man, I'm just waiting for more." It was so classic of a situation to prove to you, like, even when something is so flawless as that joke was, like, you can never make a woman happy, right? I used to think that with my ex, right? Like, we'd be watching a comedy together and like I'm busting out laughing. She's just like, I don't get it. Like, but anywho, so we're gonna kind of go into, I got some other videos that I actually want to show you to that go into it a little bit more, whether or not you can make a woman happy. And I literally have one article. Most of this evidence is going to be videos to kind of talk about like what are some things that will make a woman happy. So we'll see, man. But what thing I will say before we really get into it is that yes, it is subjective, right? Yes, it is a case by case basis, but I think we can generalize and say that typically a woman's happiness is dependent on her mood, depending on who's in her life, depends on what's going on in her life, depending on what stage she is in her life, depends on if she had kids or not, depending on how old those kids are. Like, because we know grown kids, they carry a different weight in a different place than a younger kid will. So, and I think that's the reason why we often have this conversation about can you keep a woman happy, because it, it could be a day-to-day situation. I had someone tell me that I'm just gonna tell you up front that I'm moody, this, I'm that, and I was like, wow, that's pretty honest, right? But I mean, that just goes to show you that a lot of time women are not in control of their emotion and how they feel. So I think that's why the happiness meter or level kind of fluctuates, right? But a lot of emotion do. All right. So we're gonna touch on, can you keep a woman happy? I would tell you this on doing my research and finding my evidence for this episode. I found it very fascinating that while I'm looking things up, a lot of things refer to sex when it comes to making a woman happy, and a lot of things are just focusing specifically on the woman's happiness when it comes to a relationship, which for those of you that have been in a relationship with a woman, that's typically how it goes, right? You focus on a woman's happiness, and then the guy's like, well, if I can make her happy, then we all happy, right? Which says a lot, right? About a relationship, which says a lot about why so many relationships fail. If one person's happiness is the priority, that says a lot. Okay. So we won't go down that rabbit hole, maybe in another video, but we're going to stick to the focal point. Can you make a woman happy? So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into our first piece of evidence right about now.
Happiest people are really going through the hardest fucking times in life.
Here I come. Oh, here I come. Oh. But keep going. Who's the easiest to please? Who can you make happy? Like if you switch gender roles, in which seem like women fighting for so-called equality, which is just in their best interest, it has nothing to do about the men. If you paid 50% of my bills or 75% of my bills and 100% gave me sex and love, that's the best relationship right there, and I ain't ashamed for it. But women aren't even happy with that. They fought to go to work, but even if you get a house husband, you go, I ain't about to take care of no nigga. So what makes a woman happy? Man, it's very simple: intimacy, food, and peace.
When it comes to a woman, you can damn near do everything that she wants, and she still ain't happy. It's still not enough.
I've gotten women to see how terrible they are as friends, as relationship partners. Women are terrible relationship partners.
All praises, all praises.
What people
All right, that was my second piece of evidence. And of course, I don't know why I feel like I have to say this, but I will say this, is that, of course, we're not talking about all women. All right. We're talking about some women. I can't even say we're talking about majority of women, right? But we are talking about a select group of women who you literally cannot please. And as Ali stated on there, is like, everybody know in general that it's easier to please a man, right? And we know what those things are. I really shouldn't have to say it, right? Men are very simplified creatures, right? Because of the emotional component. That is the reason why oftentimes we say that it's very difficult to please a woman. Because it's already set in stone. Like, men are driven, hey, feed us, sex, stroke our ego, we're pretty good, right? Let us watch our sports in peace, let us get the big piece of chicken. I mean, really, it's like 3 or 4 things that we're so simple, right? And once again, I'm speaking in general, but a lot of times, and I think this is the reason why we have all those relationship tropes out there, as far as like, even when it comes to chivalry, opening doors and stuff like that. All the relationship dynamics is geared towards women because it's geared towards keeping a woman happy. Right? Because there are so many different things. I see it all the time. Women say, buy me flowers, do this, do that. All this stuff is geared around making a woman happy, right? We won't even talk about how to make a man happy because it's that simple, right? We really don't care for gifts, right? We don't care for flowers. We don't care for romance. I'm be honest with you. Men do not really care about romance like that. We care about romance because you care about romance. All right. So literally, and this was what makes relationship dynamics so tough, is because men know this, right? Which is why the red pill community exists in the first place, right? Let's take the veil off of it and show how much of relationships is very one-sided if we was to be honest. But even yet and still, even as one-sided we know relationships are, women still complain. And that's the thing. It's never enough. And that's all these videos and videos like this are trying to say, right? Like you get all the things, people screaming equality. You get this, you get that, you get child support laws in your favor. You get this, you get it. More and more things are going the way of women, and it still isn't enough. All right. Are things still yet to be fight for and, kind of looked at trying to be improved? Absolutely. I would never say that things are perfect, but I will say things are pretty good though when you think about it. And we can literally have an episode where we literally list and break down all of the advantages that women have, even though we're supposed to have equal rights. But that's a whole nother episode. All right. So let's get into my piece of evidence number 2.
People like, please, I'll sleep on the couch. What can I do to make you happy? You can't never make no woman happy. It's a fact. She got to be happy with herself. So it's not my duty to make you happy. My duty is to what? We clarified it earlier, right? Did anybody say make a wife happy? They didn't. They said protect, secure, provide. That's my job. Most men can't say that, huh? Most people like.
All right, so that was my second piece of evidence. That kind of took a different approach to when we say you can't make a woman happy. And I totally agree. Your goal as a partner is not to make someone happy, right? Happiness have to come from within, right? Because part of happiness is you feeling comfortable and secure with yourself, right? You having self-respect, self-dignity, self-worth, right? So the whole conversation, and this is really interesting. The whole conversation behind women saying I deserve is behind happiness, right? So they feel like in order to be happy, they deserve this treatment or this person, etc. Right? So everything, this is the reason why you see women literally leave marriages of 20, 30 years or relationships all the time. Whether it comes to relationships or marriages, women are leaving most of the time because of they're not being happy, right? Now, of course, there's situations where women are cheated on, unfortunately, domestic violence and things of that nature, drug use, right? But when we're really looking at it, that's a small percentage, right? Most people are leaving because they're not happy with that other person. And who is not happy with the other person is the woman is saying that you're not in tune with who I am, what I want, my emotions. You're not communicating the way I want you to do, etc. Right? And it's all a lot of time based on happiness, but we know happiness is just another emotion. It's fleeting. That's why it's very difficult to keep a woman happy, right? Now, men know what things make women happy, right? But I would say this, that's a lot of pressure because in my experience and in my observation that women do not put the same amount of effort into trying to make a man happy, right? They know some things that a man like and a man wants, right? But even knowing that, it's not like, okay, I'm gonna make sure I'm consistent with this and make sure this happens for him, right? I mean, that's just my experience and my observation. You could tell me if you disagree, if you think I'm wrong. But at the end of the day, I mean, happiness is about you, man. Like you can't expect someone else to make you happy. But I do think a lot of women, even though they may agree with that, they still feel like their partner should kind of add on to that and provide a space where they're having fun. They're getting the things that they want. They're getting the emotional satisfaction, as well as the sexual satisfaction and everything they need in one package. But I also think that's the pressure that monogamy puts on people. And I'm not going to go down the road of that's the reason why monogamy is not natural. I'm not going down that road. But I will say that monogamy does put pressure on people to be the Swiss Army knife, right? That one-stop shop. And that's what it is, right? You got to add your best friend, your partner, your business partner, your husband, your confidant, your therapist rolled up all into one person. That's a lot of pressure, man. That's why it's important to have a solid friend group. It's important to have some familiar connection. It's important to have hobbies in order to make sure you have a full life so that you're not just depending on one person to bring your satisfaction. All right. Let's move on. I believe this is our last piece of evidence. It sure is. Let's move on to our last piece of evidence and wrap it up with why or asking the question, can you make a woman happy? Let's go. All right. So for my last piece of evidence, we're going to wrap it up with an article from Utah State University. This is What a Woman Need in a Relationship, 10 Essential Elements for a Strong, Fulfilling Relationship. We're going to see if these 10 elements are something that can really be sustaining and something that really makes a woman happy, right? Because let's be real, we don't talk about a man's happiness. And let me say this before I get to reading. The reason why we don't talk about a man's happiness is because men don't care about their happiness. Men are duty based. What can we do to provide? And we should stop saying provision and protection. And what we should say is protection and creation, because we worry about creating so that we can make the world a more efficient and effective place to live. Right? That's why men don't worry about happiness, right? It's not about me being happy. It's about me being productive, right? Now, am I generally happy around family and friends? Absolutely, right? When it's downtime, when we're not working, when we're not trying to figure out how to solve the world's problems, we happy around the people that we love, all right? So, anywho, let me get into this article and see what these 10 things are. I'm curious, just like you are. So is it numbered? No, it's not. So I like things to be numbered. All right, so it's a show her love and affection. Love and affection are foundation to any successful relationship. Women need to feel loved and cherished by their significant other. This can be shown through kind words, physical touch, and thoughtful gestures. I agree. Most women do love that. And that's a way to make sure that their emotions are stroked. Okay. But the difficult part with this is what's too little and what's too much, right? Trying to find a perfect medium is a lot of time be the struggle when it comes to whether a woman is happy with that amount, whatever amount of engagement that you give her as far as affection and love. All right. Create more emotional intimacy. Emotional intimacy is a cornerstone of any successful relationship. Women need to feel emotionally connected to their partner. This involves sharing feelings, fears, dreams, and experiences. Now, here's what I don't want to say the problem, or here's the difficulty with this. Women do always talk about men opening up emotionally, being emotionally intelligent and things of that nature. But it's always coming from the lens of a woman, right? A lot of time women have to understand that we do not operate like you do. We don't always think about our feelings. We don't always think about kind words to tell you to make you feel better about yourself and about the relationship, right? So oftentimes we're operating on two different planes because women a lot of times just won't let men be men, right? We're not about the mushy gushy stuff all the time, right? And if we do, like I said, like when it comes to romance and buying flowers and stuff like that, we don't want to do that. We do it because you like it. So anytime we do it, you definitely should be appreciative of it, right? So, but that's one thing. It's really the expectation is what can create the level of unhappiness, right? You expect me to do something that I'm really not built for. And that's what women really got to kind of come to grips on. All right, let's move forward. Ensure strong communication. Good communication is essential for a healthy relationship. Women need their partner to communicate openly and honestly with them. This means sharing feelings, discussing problems, and talking about their daily lives. Now, once again, men are not going to be all like we're straight to the point with our communication. I agree that strong communication is important, but oftentimes we like to leave out the fluff when it comes to communication and get straight to the point. Jerry came to work mad. He punched Steven. They got to fighting. They both got kicked out. In the store. Right? So, and then a lot of time when men communicate like that, women be like, well, damn, you act like you don't care. You act like you don't want to talk to me. What you mean? I told you the story. It's based on how we communicate. So a lot of time, a level of unhappiness can come from just us communicating differently. Okay. And I'm breaking these down the way I am because to have you understand usually why a woman can get unhappy in a relationship is because the expectation she placed on men or that man that she's seeing that is not conducive to what man is, okay, and how he communicates and how he moves. All right, a man that just wants you to be happy, he's going to just let's just be real. He's going to simp out for you. He's going to do everything you tell him to do. But that's the type of man you don't want. Let's just be real. All right, build up trust. Trust is a critical component of any relationship. Women need to feel trusted by their partner and need to trust them in return. Trust involves being honest, keeping promises, and maintaining reliability. Absolutely. And trust is a hard thing to sustain over the course of a very long relationship, but trust is super important, just like communication and honesty is. But one thing that has to be discussed is, okay, when you say you want honesty, can I really give it to you straight? Right? Because we understand in general that women struggle with the unadulterated truth. I mean, let's just be real. Right? So that's where you and the person you with, you're going to have that difficult conversation. Okay. Like, how much do we really tell? Do we tell each other deepest, darkest secrets, or do we, keep things on an even keel and say what we need to say in order to make sure that we both good. Because, the rabbit hole goes deep, as they say. All right. Be empathetic towards her. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. Women need their partner to show empathy, especially during difficult times. This is something that I've had to get good at throughout the years, and it started probably when I was in high school. Anyway, we don't want to hear a story. But but what I do want to say is, yes, empathy and sympathy is definitely needed. But once again, what empathy and sympathy look like for a man is going to be different from for a woman. Okay. We're going to care. We're going to show empathy. Yes, we love you, but you also got to understand that we're natural problem solvers. So if we have to slip in a solution to what you're telling us or going through, don't get mad at us. Okay. It's just how our brain works. Okay. So it's hard for us to just hear a situation and hear how you feel about it and not want to step in and fix it. And partly because we do care about you. But don't look at it as we trying to always fix something or fix you, but it's just how we are. Okay. Let's see. Show her validation and appreciation. Validation is a central aspect of emotional support. Women need to feel that their feelings and experience are acknowledged and validated by their partners. I get that. Support her personal growth. And do we got one more? We got a couple more. Talk about shared values. Find new adventures with her. Spend quality time together. Okay. And that's about it. Now, what I do want to point out is that most of those 10 essential elements were about her feelings and emotions, which is why it will be difficult to keep a woman happy that, one, doesn't understand the opposite sex, two, is always thinking about her happiness, three, is not focused on the relationship in general's growth and how the two can become one, whether you're in a relationship or a marriage. And four, I will round it off and say that if you're not focused on duty versus your own happiness, that is the problem. Okay. When two people get together, they're supposed to make sure their lives becomes easier and that you see the value in that person just like they see in you. Okay. How can we both win from this situation? Because if you can't both win from the situation, we understand everything transactional, then what is the point? What is the use? All right. And then it is what it is. Okay. So, man, that's today's episode, man. Hopefully, you get some good tips, some key pointers to, why. And let me say, let's just go and close things up. I won't say that it's just impossible to make a woman happy. What I would say is you have to be very intentional to make sure that she's comfortable and secure. I think security brings happiness. I think communication does bring happiness. Definitely provision brings happiness. I think if you do your role as a man, then that would make her happy. The other part has to come from her life, right? Is she doing what she want to do? Is she comfortable with the different relationships that she has in her life? Has she did the work on herself to make sure that she lessened the insecurities and the anxieties and things of that nature? So half of it is going to be how comfortable she is in the relationship. The other half is going to be how comfortable she is with herself. Okay. You bring those two aspects together, I feel like you live in a pretty good life, if you ask me. All right. So, man, that's today's episode. I appreciate y'all, man, as always, for rocking with me, man. Links in the description, like, comment. Let me know if you had any topic you would like me to make the case on, man. I appreciate those of y'all that's leaving comments. Hey, share the video, man. Hey, let's get these subscribers up, man, so we can go live, man. I'm ready to go live and talk to the people, man. All right. So, hey, as always, I'm you, you are me, love, always love, eternal. Remember, the worst thing you can do is lie to yourself. And I think we made that case, baby. All right. Deuces. My love.